You betcha.
And then I'll leave you a
Please do.
review, of course.
Yes,
when I
absolutely.
buy one, because I assume you do it through Amazon and your own
Yes.
self-publishing,
Oh, I don't self-publish. I have a publisher.
or do you know?
That was just the first one. I lost my shirt and almost lost my manuscript. Long story, not a happy one.
Well, let's back up because everybody's going self-publishing now. I mean, pretty much. And I know some people who have published and have publishers, and then they self-publish. And I know people who self-publish from the beginning. You want to explain what happened so people understand the difference?
Oh, sure. Now this
I
goes
have
back up.
time. I have time. So
Okay, all right. Well, shorten me up if you need to. This was 2010, and I'm not going to mention names, as will be obvious here a little bit. But I connected with a company in Arizona that offered packages of help to self-publish, to authors that want to self-publish. And so I submitted my manuscript to them, and I should have caught on faster, but I was naive. When you start into something for the first time, you always have to take your lumps. You kind of pay your dues, to become what you want to do, and that's true in writing. They ended up very poorly editing things. Their responses were bad. For a while, I got pretty good royalties, and then they started dropping off and intermittent. And in the end, the guy that owned the company declared Chapter 7 bankruptcy. I think you probably know what that means.
Mhm.
They come in and take everything but the paint on the wall. And somehow he was able to convince a judge that the material that he had, all the manuscripts, and he had close to 100 authors, all of that intellectual property was worthless. Fortunately, one of the authors was also a lawyer. And so he went to court on the behalf of everybody that was working with this company, and at least we got our manuscripts back, and the copyright information for titles and covers and that kind of thing. But that was a disaster. I think I lost close to $15,000 in that process. So I don't know what to tell people today. You need to be really, really careful. Look at the history of the company and see what kind of successes they have. But don't just take it on faith.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of self-publishing now is just put on Amazon. They don't even have a place that takes the royalties except for what you get yourself through Amazon and the other stuff. So that must have been a totally different. Because I know another company that went bankrupt also in 2000. When did they go bankrupt? 2020, I think it was. And then they were, because the one guy who started was a New York best time seller, and he started writing stuff for people, and then they started doing, and then they sold the company, and the person who bought the company and took it into the ground, and then somebody else just bought it, which is called Scribe Media, which is they self-publish and they help you. They're just expensive. Yeah. So I mean, it's just, again, and then I have another guy who just wrote a book recently, and I'm like, I can tell you didn't go through a good, because it's important to have somebody go through your book and edit make sure it's beautiful and everything else. So
I've been very fortunate. I found a content editor who does a terrific job. It's a little expensive. She charges by the word, and I tend to write a lot. I tend to be a little wordy, but in the long run, it really pays off because she's the one that goes through and looks for, you called this guy James in one place and Jim in another place, or Charles, or or some other inconsistency like that if the reader is paying attention, it destroys their what's called the intentional. I got to think of this